Open the Op Income Planning page for an example of the use of QPC for financial projections. The objective in this example is to analyze the effect of changes in 4 key metrics on operating income as the key performance indicator and create a plan to increase operating income. 2011 is the base year from which what-if projections are made for the year 2012. Let's review the concepts involved. Business objective: increase operating income. Strategy: set an operating income target number. Source: QuickBooks 2011 income statement. Method: A. Use QPC financial management application with QuickBooks data. B. Set a KPI target number. C. Identify metrics that impact operating income. D. Use slider bars to create several what-if projection scenarios. And E. Use the most suitable what-if scenario to achieve the financial objective. The following procedure demonstrates the use of the QPC dashboard to create a sample what-if scenario for operating income. The field is separated into an input section consisting of Step 1 and Step 2 panels, and an output section consisting of the operating income gauge. In the Step 1 panel, the actual base operating income at the end of 2011 is $2,000, as shown in blue text at the bottom left of the slider bar. No changes away from 0% have yet been entered in the 4 key metrics in the Step 2 panel. Therefore, the initial projected 2012 operating income shown in the box beneath the operating income gauge is equal to the 2011 base year number of $2,000. Next, select a 2012 target for operating income using the slider bar arrow in the Step 1 panel. First, set the limits for the slider bar by double-clicking on the small box at each end of the bar and entering the desired limits. For example, minus 4,000 for the lower limit and positive 4,000 for the upper limit. Next, move the slider arrow to different positions in the range between these endpoints and note that the target operating income number changes. Alternatively, if a precise target number is desired, double-click in the top box, enter the desired number, and then single-click or press Enter. For example, set $2,500 as the target operating income for 2012. Move the slider arrow to the top of the bar and note that the target 2012 operating income number is displayed in red text in the box to the left of the slider bar. Next, in the Step 2 panel, set the limits for each metric slider bar at minus 100% and positive 100%. First, move the sales change slider arrow in either direction on the bar to select a fractional change, and note that each selected position is displayed as a percentage at the right end of the slider bar. Alternatively, to enter a precise fractional change, double-click in the small box beneath the right end of the sales change slider bar, enter the change, for example 0.03, and single-click. Move the slider arrow to the right end of the bar to obtain the corresponding 3% change, which is displayed in red at the right end of the slider bar. Note that a plus 3% sales change results in a projected operating income of $2,369, as shown in the box beneath the gauge. Note also that the gauge needle points to the yellow zone, indicating that the projected $2,369 operating income number is close to the target number of 2,500 shown in the Step 1 panel. By comparison, a minus 3% sales change gives a projected operating income of $1,631. This is much less than the target number 2,500 as indicated by the gauge needle pointing into a red zone. Conversely, entering a plus 10% sales change gives a projected operating income of $3,230, which is greater than the target number as indicated by the gauge needle pointing into a green zone. To further demonstrate, a plus 0.5 fractional change is entered for each metric in the Step 2 panel to give a 50% increase for each. For this set of plus 50% changes, the projected operating income shown under the gauge is $3,000. The gauge needle is in the green zone, indicating that the projected number is greater than the operating income target number of $2,500. For comparison, set a minus 0.5 change for each metric to obtain a minus 50% decrease. Observe that the operating income gauge is now in the red zone, indicating that the projected operating income of $1,000 is less than the target number, $2,500, shown in the Step 1 panel. Notice that the gauge for operating income has two small boxes with automatically varying endpoint values depending on the target number selected in Step 1. The gauge needle always points to a number that lies between these two endpoints. Click on the Show Chart button to view a bar chart of the results. Moving the cursor onto the blue bars in the bar chart gives a display of the 2011 numbers for each metric in the Step 2 panel. Similarly, moving the cursor onto the red bars gives a display of the corresponding projected 2012 numbers.